All right, now I'm going to share with you our throwing program. Inside our throwing program, it's totally different than anything that you've seen before. And simply, we kind of push the limits. We don't need a partner. We don't need a lot of distance. In fact, most guys, I tell our guys all the time, the only thing that you need a baseball and the intent to throw a baseball. You don't even need a glove because there's just so many ways. If you live in the cold weather climate, simply take a net or a mattress, even inside your house. I've seen guys do that because it's your intent to throw that matters. Now, getting to long shots, you read in your manual, not a big believer in long shots. Personally, I think it's just your intent. It's the process prior to throwing that separates. It's the intent to try to throw the ball harder. It's why guys believe that long toss increases your arm strength, but you can read more about that in the manual. I'm going to make this real quick for you. First off, in our throwing program, the first step, as you've seen, we consider our throwing program, it would be the warm-up. It would be the black balls, the 2-pound balls, and then we'd go straight into throwing. And you're going to notice, after going through the 2-pound balls, these guys are ready to throw. As a matter of fact, so much about long toss is creating some blood flow. It's lengthening out the muscle groups in order, and that's what we're bringing to the table right here is, now I'm ready to throw the ball as if I've already went through my long toss program. But we're going to assume that you haven't. This is new to you. So the first thing, our first step as we start to throw the ball, rule number one, as I start to throw the ball, I just want to have a focus. My pet peeve is watching guys throw. When I was recruiting, evaluating guys as a college pitching coach, I wanted to get there an hour early because I wanted guys that like to throw the ball. If I saw a guy out there that had no focus, out there joking around, he would never make it for me because, again, I can't stress this enough. So much of your results on the mound are they're direct reflection of what you're doing off the mound. So your throwing program is the nuts and bolts of everything. Anything and everything starts with your throwing program, so you've got to make every throw count. First step, we'll start here with a partner, and we're going to simply start to make a throw. One of the things that I see all the time, this is probably the #1 flaw I see with throwing programs, and I've never seen anyone address this, is as guys start to throw, they'll throw with a straight back leg, and it's just very lackadaisical throw. And sure, you're going to point this out to your guys, and you're going to say, I'm just getting loose. Well, yeah, that's fine, but if you're just getting loose and you're working with a stiff back leg, a very passive action, that's going to carry over. So regardless, if I've never picked up a ball in 6 months, when I make my first throw, I'm still going to have some bend and be able to create a little bit of rhythm inside the throw. So that's what I would watch for as they're starting to get loose. Now, as far as your drill work, you can pick any drill that you like. We use what was formerly known as the Pitching Mechanics Mastermind System. That's the system that, that I created that's now being used by well over 100 different college programs. I've actually taken it away, and I'm about to reintroduce that here real soon, but I've added a lot to it, and it's now called the Art and Science of Feel. Now, inside that program, it's all about teaching you how to become your own coach. It's about how we develop our pitchers from the inside out. We stay away from any and all cues. We simply teach by feel, and that's what we found that really accelerates the learning curve, speeds up the development, and I credit that to a lot of the success that our guys have seen. But you'll find more about that, the Art and Science of Feel, here later. Now let's get back to the long toss. With the long toss, if you're limited by space, if I were coaching, my guys like to throw long, absolutely go for it, because every player, every pitcher is going to be different. At the end of the day, if you can give these guys some ownership, they're going to perform much better. They're going to feel like they have a say. I always like to think that I'm going to provide the structure, and then I'm giving those guys free range inside the structure. So let's just say we're limited. We've got no room for long toss. We've got no space. It doesn't matter. I've got a net that's roughly 15 feet in front of me. I don't need a partner. I don't need to worry about balls flying everywhere. What we do, we take 4 or 5 balls, get them beside us, and we'll take our throw. Now, I can simulate that by throwing it high. I can throw it low. It doesn't matter. Once our guys feel like they're loose, they're going to go. Now, if you were to walk into this place in Nashville in the middle of November, December, January, you're going to see well over 20 guys, 13 big league guys, throwing just into a net. People walking here, they think that we're crazy. They look at this, and they're like, hey, these guys don't throw long. No, it doesn't matter. It's all about their intent to try to throw the ball hard. And I can promise you right now, when you see Justin Grimm and Neil Ramirez, these guys are trying to knock these freaking nets down every time they make a throw, and that's one reason why they throw in the upper 90s, getting close to that 100-mile-per-hour mark. So it's just our intent to throw. It doesn't matter about the distance. Now, after we finish that stretch, and if you're partnered up, you're on the field, it's time to get to old school burnout. Just like how you and I used to play, it's all about how hard can I throw the ball? Because I want to make everything a competition. But first, I've got to learn to compete against myself, and that's the mental process of making every throw count. That's number one. Number two, anytime that I can create a competitive environment in my throwing program where it's me versus you, I'm going to let it fly. I'm throwing the ball as hard as I can, and I'm looking for body language. If a guy gives me body language, he's out. You're going to find that your kids really, really, really will like this. More importantly, I always found that you could take 25 strangers, you could give them a baseball, and over a week you would know who likes to throw, who wouldn't, because the guys that like to throw would find guys that like to throw, and the guys that didn't like to throw, well, they'd find other guys that didn't like to throw. So inside your throwing program, what we've got, number one is just a clear focus every time we pick up the ball. Number two, as we're starting to get loose, we're not creating bad habits, we're not stiff, and just throwing to get loose. That's never ever the deal. We've got a goal every time that we throw the ball, whether that's mechanics, whether that's to a spot, trying to throw it hard, it doesn't matter. We've got a goal. Number three is just a long toss. That's the stretch phase. It's trying to build, try to get some blood flow, lengthen up some muscle groups where we're ready to get into what we call burnout. And burnout, we're partnered up. It's a competition from 60 feet, 40 feet, however far your players are, what they pitch from. That's where we're going to go through. And it doesn't matter if it's stretch, wind up, a step. I really don't care because it's all about throwing. As you read in the program, you've got to throw to pitch. You don't have to pitch to throw. And I think that's one reason why so many kids get injured. I think it's another reason why so many kids suffer from lower velocity is they don't try to throw the ball hard enough as often as they should. So in burnout, we're getting our feet moving. We're trying to knock the other guy's glove off for a better way to look at it. Now, last but not least, what we're going to do here as far as pitch development. Now, with pitch development, what I would recommend to you, pick one pitch. Whatever pitch that you think you're struggling with. It could be a fastball, it could be a breaking ball, it could be a changeup. And for this week only until my next bullpen, that's the only pitch that I'm going to work with. Don't be the guy that struggles with a breaking ball or a fastball away and you spend 90% of your time working on a changeup or a breaking ball. Pick your weaknesses, attack it. So we would start from the stretch with our partner, and we're working whatever pitch that we're struggling on. That's it. We're going to try to get the feedback, figure it out, and once we've done that, we're done. But with that throwing program, it's going to constantly change to whatever your needs are, and you're going to be able to customize that and do whatever you like. So hopefully you enjoyed that program. Look over your notes and I highly recommend that you ask your players to keep a journal, and once they start to take ownership in the process, they see that you're giving them some freedom, you're going to watch how quickly they start to develop.